Live. Hey, what's up? This is George Shamon, and in this live presentation, I'm gonna go over Linux desktop versus the server edition, and I'm gonna be talking about Ubuntu. That's what I use, Linux Ubuntu, and I have two computers at home. One of them I installed the desktop, and the second one I installed the server edition. And I want to talk about that, the difference between them, when to use the desktop edition, when do you use the server edition, and what's the difference, and how important they are to use, and the reason why I use Ubuntu, not other Linux distributions, even though from what I hear and see that they say there are about 600 Linux distributions, and my favorite are Linux Mint and Linux Ubuntu. But these days, for the last couple of years, I have Linux Ubuntu installed on my machines, and I like it, and I don't like to keep switching. And once once you install it, it's not easy to change it, install another version. If you're happy with it, just leave it. If you're on this live stream, please say hi, drop your question in a comment box, and let me know if you have any questions about Ubuntu, about Linux Ubuntu, and if you have any question about the desktop version or the server version, what's the difference, how to get them ready, how to install them, how to have access to the command line interface. So again, this is George Shamon. I'm coming to you live on this Wednesday afternoon, October the 2nd, 2024. If we never met before, this is George Shamon, and I'm coming to you live from the US state of South Dakota, and I'm gonna be answering your questions about Linux, and to be specific, Linux Ubuntu, because I have it installed on my system here, and I can show it to you how it looks like. This is why I like to talk about it. In case you have any questions, let me know. So, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of topics. So, yeah, so again, this is, we're talking about Linux, Ubuntu, the desktop edition versus the server edition. So if you are on this live stream, drop a comment in a box below, in a comment box, so I know somebody is listening or have a question. And let me know if you have any question, because maybe I should have added the answering your questions in a title, but it's too late now, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna be answering the questions now. If somebody have a question about using Linux, how to get started, Linux Ubuntu, desktop, server edition, what's the difference, and how to start, which one to use first. So if you're new to Linux and you want to install Linux Ubuntu, for example, you should use the desktop. The desktop, it has the graphical user interface, and then you can access the terminal to use the commands. So you have access to a lot of icons and graphical user elements, which is much easier than the server edition, which is you only use the command line interface. So if you're on this live stream, I want to thank you so much. And if you are on a future replay, also I want to thank you for joining. Let me know if you have any questions about Linux desktop server and why I use Ubuntu. So Any questions, or if you have any topics you want to discuss about Linux, we can talk about it now. I've been using Linux and Linux commands for the last couple decades. I've been using it for a long time, on and off. I use it at home. It's for free. It's a great operating system. It has so many useful options and aspects to it. It's for free. Anybody can download it and use it on their computer. And if you don't even have a specific computer uh, for it, you can install it as a virtual machine on your Windows, or I mean, the Mac has access to the Linux command. So anybody have a question about Linux desktop server? Which one to use first? If you're starting a new, let me know. And I want to welcome you, and drop your comments in a comment box, like your name, or if you want, where you're tuning in from. If you have any question about Linux, just drop a comment. So this way I know you are here and you can hear me well. So if you like this kind of content, talking about Linux commands, Linux server desktop, how to use them, and how to make web pages, website, how to use HTML, CSS using a code editor like Visual Studio Code, join this channel. I need to grow it and I need your help. And in return, I'll be making more videos like these, and I will be helping you answer questions about the topics I mentioned before. And if you look in my on the banner, YouTube banner, you can see I updated it today, so you can tell what I talk about. And if you have any question about the technology, about softwares, let me know, and I can check it out to see if I can learn it, I can discuss it, but as of now, this is what I cover: Linux, Linux commands, desktop, servers, how to use Linux, and I talk about Visual Studio Code, how to use the code editor to to make web pages, simple codes like HTML5, CSS3, and I started recently with the JavaScript, but JavaScript is very difficult. I only know the very basics now. I haven't gotten into any projects yet. I find it very difficult. So if you're on this live stream or you're joining in the future, let me know if you have any questions. You need my help, I can answer you now. So do you use Linux desktop or server? Do you have a computer running an operating system like Linux? What do you have? Are you running Windows or Mac? Uh, are you into the technology field? Do you use software? What kind of software do you use? So anybody else? Anybody have a question? Also, you can drop in uh, your comments or your topics that you like me to talk about in the future. If there's a specific topics you want me to discuss, let me know in the future and will review it, but as long as it aligns with the topics I have on this channel. So waiting for your questions or comments, or sharing ideas about Linux, about HTML, CSS, about Visual Studio Code, the code editor. Let me know what you think. So again, this live video is specific about Linux and the difference, Linux, Ubuntu Linux, and the desktop and version edition. So I'm going to be talking about those because I installed yesterday Linux Ubuntu Server 22.04. I already have the desktop, so I have them on separate computers, and I am ready to answer your questions. If you have any questions about using Linux, installing Linux, what you need, command line, how to use it, how to get started, why you should use it, and what are the advantages of using Linux and the disadvantages. There are two. So Let me know if you have any questions in the comment box. So it's very important these days to learn more about computers. You don't have to be in a computer field. You don't have to be a computer science student or an IT professional. You can be anyone, any person with any background, with any education, any skills, any experience. You can use computer softwares to do certain tasks. And one of my favorite softwares I use is Linux operating system. I save money by not keep updating my Windows machine, and I don't have to have antivirus software because it's Linux is very secure. I mean, no system is 100% secure, but Linux is very secure, more secure than other systems. That's why there is no need to keep updating it, even though there are updates and there's a way to update it automatically or just with the hit of a click of a mouse. It's not that difficult, and I'm willing to show you how it looks like once you have any questions about it, about the Linux desktop or server, how it looks like on my computer. Once you're ready, you have a question, let me know, and I can show you the screen. I mean, the desktop, you only see GUIs and icons. I mean, I can show you now how the desktop looks like. So if you look here, it's very similar to Windows. It's not strange, if you look at it here, you have the command line interface, the CLI. It's right here, and then you can use it like it's very similar to Windows. If you look at it here, it's got this graphical user interface. So if you're new to Linux, you can, it's very easy to use. It's not that difficult if you're not into, not me. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, guess what? I got 5 subscribers. Yeah. Oh, okay, good. That's good. I'm glad you got some subscribers. So your channel is moving. So this is Linux desktop, and but I need 45 more. Yeah, keep going, keep making videos. The more yeah, you need 50. That's true. The more you make videos, the more you get subscribers. Keep at it. So yeah, and what else? Anybody have a question about Linux desktop versus Linux server, and how to use them, where to use them, or what's the difference? So yeah, drop your comment or questions in the comment box there if you have any question about the topics we're talking about. Linux. I'm using Linux Ubuntu 22.04, and I installed yesterday the server edition on a different computer, so I have the server and the desktop edition now. So it's a great software, and it's not that difficult, but my recommendation is to start with the desktop edition. The desktop is much easier because you can have access to the command line interface and the graphical user interface both. But if you have the server edition and you're starting anew, first, it's not that easy to install the server. You have to have some experience with the desktop first to know the commands, and then you can have the command prompt. You're not going to have any graphical user interface on a server. So this is why it's much better to have some experience with the desktop first to to familiarize yourself with the Linux environment. And Ubuntu or Mint are the easiest, So and they're prevalent because most of the Ubuntu servers have a big market share of Linux distribution servers, So yeah, again, this is we're talking about Linux and the difference between the Linux desktop and the server. And obviously the server, you can run services, and even though the desktop you can run services, but the Ubuntu server you can run services like just like a web hosting company. But the difference is if you install it on your at home, on your local network, you can have a Linux server, but it's not going to be connected on the internet. So I mean you can, but it cannot act as a server to the internet or to the outside world. It can be a server at your home, and you can connect it to the internet as a client. So, oh wait, let me call my brother. Okay, bye. I will be back. Okay, sure. Yeah, yeah. Who else? Anybody have a question? I want to thank you so much for joining. If you are on this live stream or in the future on the replay, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel because I need to grow my channel and I need your help. If you are interested in this kind of topics, I talk about Linux commands, how to use Linux, and to be specific, Ubuntu, desktop and server. I talk about making SVG files using Inkscape and other softwares. And I talk about making web pages, websites, simple websites using codes like HTML5, CSS3, or website builders where you don't have to use any code. So I'm very familiar with the basics, the fundamentals of making a website, a web page, setting up web hosting, a website on the web hosting. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Uh, Joe Kensworth, welcome and thank you for joining the live streams. You have a question. Are you familiar with that? No, I'm not familiar. I was just mentioning. I just started learning JavaScript, like the plain one, the vanilla one, and I find it very difficult. But I want to power through it at least with the basics. I nailed down the basics, but I haven't been able to make projects in JavaScript. And I'm taking some online courses, coding courses, and one of them is JavaScript. And I'm having tough time with it because it's not easy, it's difficult. And obviously, once React, you cannot get to React unless you know JavaScript well. Then you get to the framework like React and Angular and Vue. So who else? Anybody have a question? I want to make sure I see the questions. Oh, okay, they're coming. Guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you like this content, like talking about web page making, websites, and using Linux commands, desktop and server. So, how long are you live streaming? For now, I'll be maybe for half an hour or an hour, maybe. It depends. If I get questions, I'm gonna stay to answer questions. So, TJ, Free Lebanon. Yeah, welcome, TJ. Thank you. So, who else? Anybody else have a question about Linux desktop, Linux server? And the one I'm using is the Linux Ubuntu 22.04 LTS long-term support. And I have two computers at home. One of them is running Linux desktop, and the second one is running Linux server. I installed it yesterday. So you're looking slimmer, my friend. What's the secret? I'm not sure. I'm trying to eat less, but it's difficult. I like to eat. I like food. So I still eat, but I don't know what's going on. Maybe my haircut. I got a haircut today. That's why, because I had a long hair and messy one. My hair was messy. That's why. Anybody else? Questions, comments, topics you like to talk about, you want to discuss, and you want to share? This is a two-way conversation. I can talk and you can talk. You can share topics, but as long as it's within the technology, the software, and what we're talking about. I want to urge everybody not to talk about religion, politics, and the situation. This is very sensitive subjects, and the people don't like to talk about it. And this video is not for that. So it's for Linux and the command line, how to use it, and Linux desktop versus Linux server, which one to use, when and why. And my recommendation, I mean, everybody knows that you should start with the desktop. The desktop has a graphical user interface, and it has the command line. You can access the terminal to type commands. But the server, you're not going to have a graphical user interface. You're not going to have all what you have, a command prompt where you can type commands. So if you're new to Linux, I don't recommend it, because you're gonna be frustrated. You're not gonna know what to type unless you have a book or a reference of commands. So anybody else? Questions, comments, topics? By the way, guys, if you're interested in learning Linux, I have an online course. I will have to add it in the comments someplace. I will have to add it. Then I can add the link. But if you go to my website and georgekcwebservices.com, and then you go up to the navigation link where it says online courses, and there's a link to Linux. If you're interested, check out the web page, the course description page. I mean, you don't have to join, just read the description page, and you might be, if you're interested, let me know. And just to join, it's very cheap. It's a one-time fee of $49, and I will help you. uh, Anna Julia, hi. Thank you, Anna, for joining. Welcome to the live stream. How can I help you? Do you have any questions about Linux, how to use Linux commands, Linux server, desktop, which one to use? On this channel, I talk about the Linux commands, servers, desktops, and how to use the command line. And I talk about making simple websites using HTML, CSS, and the very basic of JavaScript. Very, very basic. I'm starting new with the JavaScript, and I talk about making website using website builder. So even if you're not a programmer or a coder, you can use those. So, and I talk about making SVG files using Inkscape. If you have any questions, submit it in a comment, and let's talk about AI. To be honest with you, I hear a lot about AI, but I don't have information about it, and I'm not gonna be talking about a subject that I don't know much about. Then I'm gonna be looking naive. Uh, Anna Julia, nothing. Just wanted to check as it appeared in my recommendation. Okay, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So, where are you guys tuning in from? Are you in the US or overseas? If you're in the US, what state are you coming from? TJ, AI is love. AI is like Habibi. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about AI. I mean, at one point, everybody is gonna get involved with AI, but I don't know much about it. That's why I don't want to talk about it. So I'm coming to you live from the U.S. state of South Dakota. It's in the Midwest region of the U.S. It's 5:16 now, Central Standard Time. It's Wednesday, actually October the 2nd, I think. Yeah, October the 2nd, 2024. If we never met before, my name is George Shamoun, and I want to welcome you. Thank you for joining. And I want to urge you to subscribe if you like this kind of content, because I need your help in growing my channel. And in return, I'll be making more videos like these, and I will help you answer questions about topics that I'm familiar with or I can learn about. I'm not going to be talking about a lot of topics I don't know. So I want TJ. I wanted to move to US, but the US is scary. Why it's scary? It's okay for an Arab to move there. I am an Arab. I am Lebanese. I am from Lebanon, so I'm Arabic. So Tampa is where I wanted to go. Yeah, Tampa is nice. Yeah, yeah. Who else? Anybody have guys? Subscribe to the channel if you have not already subscribed. If you're interested in this kind of content, and if you like the way I present, because in case you don't like me or you don't like the channel, I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe, obviously, so it's up to you. But I have to let you know that I need to grow the channel, and every subscriber counts, and I do appreciate it. Anybody else? Questions, comments, topics about Linux, how to use Linux commands, desktop, server. Did you marry an American? Let's not talk about this now. Who's next? Anybody have a question? Questions, comments, topics. Guys, let's keep the topics limited or confined to Linux, because this video is about Linux server versus Linux desktop, and this is what the title says. So I want to try to stick to it, so I don't look like I'm lying to you or lying to the audience or clickbaiting the audience, So we cannot be talking about Linux, desktop, Linux server, and to be specific, Ubuntu. This is my favorite. It's the easiest. And anybody else have a question? Anna Julie, why are flat packs so large? I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Anybody else? Guys, let's talk about Linux if you're interested. If you're not interested, you can join, but don't be asking me other questions, because this is we're talking about Linux servers, desktop, how to get started, So anybody is interested to learn Linux and you want to know how to get started, let me know, like what computer you need, etc. So anybody else? Questions, comments? I got one more subscriber. I wish I can get more, So how I changed to the terminal only. Anna Julia. Okay, what do you have Linux installed, Anna? What kind of computer do you have, and what are you running? Are you running Linux Ubuntu or another distribution? Are you running Linux? Okay, how I changed to the terminal only. So let me know what do you have installed. Okay, it's Lenovo. Okay, Lenovo, it's the type of computer you have with Arch Linux. I never used Arch Linux, but I'm sure the Linux commands are very familiar. Let me ask you a question. Why you want to switch to terminal only? Does Arch Linux have a graphical user interface? If it has a graphical user interface, you can access the terminal from within the graphical user interface. This way you have two options. What if you want to browse the internet using a browser? You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to switch it to terminal only, install the what do you call it, the server option, the server version edition. If you install the thank you, TJ, thanks. Yeah, I saw a notification coming in. Thank you, I'm glad you subbed. Yeah, so yeah, so Anna, if you wanna use, if you wanna keep your do you have a graphical user interface on the Arch Linux? You must, because if you're asking, you want to use the terminal only, you must have it. Yeah, thank you, TJ. Thank you very much. Yes, spread the word. And Anna, Julia, okay. Yeah. Just if you need only the command line interface, you can access it from within the desktop. I can show you now. Let me show you on my machine. I have Ubuntu 22.04 desktop, and I can show you what I'm talking about. And I'm sure the Arch Linux have some similarities too, So if you look here, I hope you're still on a live stream. So let's say this is the desktop. I'm gonna flip my screen so I can show you. So this is the desktop, right? This is the desktop. I keep the desktop, and then what I do, you have an icon here. If you look at the icon here, this icon, if you click on it, You can get the terminal. This is the terminal, and you can make it small. You can make it larger. If you want, it can cover the desktop. If you look, it can cover the whole desktop. But I will keep it because I have the user interface here. Those options, those icons. I mean, and I like it because it's very similar to Microsoft Windows. It has some similarities, the GUI. And once you're done with it, you don't want to use it, you can minimize it here. And if you look here, there's a dot. It means it's still open. Once you click on it, you can do, it's here. And if you don't see it here, you can search for it. Like if you look here, you just click on this one and you go up, type search, and I'm running Linux Ubuntu 22.04. So if you type here term, terminal, you're gonna get something like this, this one. And once you click on it, it's gonna open. And the way I do it, I keep those, I add them to the favorites. So that's why you see the icons here on the taskbar. So yeah, and you can use one more. You can open more terminals if you want. Like you can open two terminals or more at the same time. So you can be running one command here, one command here. So it's much better, I think. I forgot to install the terminal. In Arch you install everything manually. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. You installed everything manual. And why are you running Arch? Let me look at Arch Linux. I mean, I hear about it, but I don't know much about it. Let me just take a look at it to see if I can help you. uh, Let me see. I'm gonna just get on the internet to see Linux Arch. I mean, if that's the case, you can be installing everything manual. It means it's not that advanced. I would use Ubuntu. Arch Linux is an independently developed such and such general purpose distribution strives to provide the latest stable version. So, is Arch Linux better than Ubuntu? Okay, check the Unix strengths. Make sure if you are customizing it is soft. Okay, it looks like you can customize it more than Ubuntu. That's why I mean Ubuntu. I forgot to install the terminal. Okay, so let me check how to install it now. I'm gonna do an internet search. So install. Do you have a search box on your system, on your graphical user? If you have a search box, you can install terminal and hit search. Maybe the system will find it for you, just like I found it for using Linux Ubuntu. So install terminal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you use this specific distribution Arch if you have to install everything manual. I don't know. So it's okay to install Arch using terminal. You can download. I mean, I'm surprised, and it's kind of strange that Linux doesn't have the terminal ready. So I would. Oh, found it. Okay, thank you. You found it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to say that it should be easy because Linux, the most important element of Linux is using the command, the terminal. So it must be accessible and easily accessible in every Linux distribution. So I'm glad you found it. Okay, good. Who else? Anybody have a question about using Linux? And we're talking about Linux Ubuntu. That's the one I use. And we're talking about the desktop version versus the server version, because I have both installed. I have two separate computers, and I have the desktop edition installed, and the other one I have the server installed. This is why I can answer questions now. I can look at the at the terminals, and I can answer questions. So anybody else? Anna, did you make sure you subscribe if you want, it's up to you. But guys, whoever is on this live stream, make sure you subscribe. You know, I need your help grow my channel, because this way I can get some. I can be motivated more and make more videos like these and help more people. You know, so anybody have a question? Questions, comments, topics? You know, somebody one time asked a question. Should I mean, a lot of people ask this question, should we use Linux instead of Windows or Mac? You know, my recommendation, if you use Windows, keep Windows and use Linux in addition to Windows. You can run it on Windows as a virtual box. Even if you have a Windows machine, you can run Linux. You can install it on a hypervisor as a virtual box, but do not install it on the same hard disk as Windows. It's gonna be very painful to remove it, or make it put the Windows original, back to original situation. And if you have an extra computer sitting around, or if you buy one, even an old one will run Linux too. You don't need a lot of resources. Any computer, any desktop, any laptop. I mean, you have to have some decent resources, and then you can install Linux on it. So, anybody else have a question about Linux? Using Linux commands, using Linux desktop or Linux uh, server, or what distribution you should use. Okay, let's see. We have questions coming in. I found it. Thank you. Gonna send this to my friend because it don't. What? Yeah. Okay. So you can send the information to your friend. Okay. Good. Yeah. Who else? Oh, asterisk I. Okay. So if you hit asterisk I, you get the terminal. I see. Who else? Anybody have a question? Welcome, guys. Welcome to this live stream. I want to thank you so much for joining and for visiting the channel. This is George Shamoun. I'm coming to you live from the US state of South Dakota. And on this channel, I talk about Linux, HTML, CSS, making web pages, using Visual Studio Code as a code editor, and making SVG files and other topics related to those main topics. So if you're interested in any of those topics, make sure you subscribe, and so I can grow my channel. And in return, I grow the channel and I will help you more. I'll make more videos. I'll be more motivated, because the more I have subscribers, the more comments I have, the more questions, the more I'm motivated to make more videos, and I will have specific topics about contents I should be making. Anybody else? Anybody else have a question about Linux? So it boils down to, if you're new to Linux, it depends what you need it for, but you need to start with the desktop version. And my recommendation, and the easiest one, is Ubuntu and Mint. Those two, Mint and Ubuntu, those are the very, the easiest for new users. And they can be used by intermediate or advanced users, because you got all the options, all the tools, installations. So if you guys interested in checking out my course about Linux commands for beginners, I can add let me add the link now in a box. So in case somebody is interested, check out the course, because I have an online course. It covers the basics of using Linux commands. So if you're serious about a course that's very systematic, and that's the way I learned myself. So let me just add it. So yeah, it's good. You can learn on your own. You don't even have to get a course, but course will, will lead you in a specific, in a very systematic way, in sequence. You know how to learn it. So let me just get the. Okay, so if you go to this link here, this link. So let me see. I mean, I'm trying to find out how do you add a comment. And this is this? Yeah, let me add it in the chat box then, Yeah. So Linux, I'm gonna add it now. Linux commands online course. So I added in the chat box. Check it out, guys. If you click on this link, I will show you where it takes you. So if you click on this one, open right here. So it's gonna take you to this page. Let me show you. Flip the screen. This link will take you to this page, right? It's a very simple page. And you click on this one, click, and then it will take you to this page. And in this page, you can key this one. It will give you all the some of the details about the course. It will give you at the end. It will give you the curriculum, and it's an accordion page. You can click on this. It will expand and it will show you what I'm covering in every section and every chapter. And at the end, you can enroll here. It's a one-time fee of 49 US dollars, one-time fee. And I can help you if you get stuck or you need my help. You let me know. So it's that simple. But I mean, you can. What's the name of the page? This is my web. Rosario de la Rosa Edgar. This is my website. This is my website here. And if you click on this link, you can go to the online course, and you click that page. It will take you the course description. I can show you again. You click on this one, right? So let me show you. It's gonna take you to this one. This is my website, georgekcwebservices.com/online courses, on this page here. And you can go down, you click on for a detailed description. Obviously, you're not ready to buy it or enroll. You can click on this here, and that will take you to this page, okay? And PayHip is my course host, web hosting. It hosts my course, my video courses. It's a video course. And then you go all the way, you can read about it, and if you decide you like it, you can enroll here. You pay $49 one-time fee, and you get in the email the login and access and everything, and it's unlimited access. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of courses online too. You don't have to get only mine. But okay, let's see some questions. What's the name of the page? Okay, we answered this. How can I learn Linux and how can I start? Okay, so this course, the one I showed you, let me just flip the screen on my face. Okay, this course that I showed you, it's the basics of Linux. And if you want, I can help you too with it if you have a question, but you have to install it. You have to have Linux installed, and I can help you with the installation if you want, But you need to have a computer. You have to have a computer, to install Linux. And if you have a computer running, let's say Windows, you can install a virtual box on the top of Windows, So okay, I understand. Okay, is Linux stable to use as personal distro in a laptop? Yes, I have the desktop. Let me show you right here. This Linux desktop here, the one I just showed you now, this one here, it's running on a laptop. This is my laptop here. You see it? You see the laptop? And this one here, and it has its own monitor here. And I have this one here. This is the Linux server I was talking about. I installed it yesterday. This one here, this machine here, and it has this one. So I have them installed, separately. So yes, it is stable. Yes, it is stable. You don't get a lot of errors. I mean, and it's easy to update. If you have Ubuntu, I'm not gonna talk about the other distributions. Ubuntu is easy to update. It's user friendly, it's great for beginners. Ubuntu and Mint Linux, those two are the best for new users, beginners. So, because I've tried so many, these are the best. You have the graphical user interface. When you start, you're not gonna see it's something strange. You have access to the terminal, and you have the desktop and the server if you want. But first, you start with the desktop, and it's Ubuntu 22.04, and it's for free. You can get it, and then it's gonna be LTS. LTS, it means long-term support. So it's for free. You can, so you go to the ubuntu.com site and you can download it. So, okay, you can see it later. Okay, okay. And what about WSL on Windows to learn Linux? Yes, you can do that. Nowadays, the new version of Windows, I think Windows 10 and anything afterwards, you can access the terminal. You can install Windows on it. Yes, so you can install it, but still, it's good to have to follow a course systematically, one by one. Or you can get on YouTube, you can get on the internet, you can get a book if you want. You can get a book like this one, Linux commands, or how it works, like this book here, how Linux works. I have it here, but this one is advanced. You don't want it if you're new. And even if you get the Linux command book, it will help a lot, but you still have to pay, I don't know, $30 or $40. And some of it are advanced to the point you're not going to be able to understand it. So this is why my course, the one I have online, it's simplified. And if you get stuck, you find something difficult, I will explain it to you. I'll get on live like this one, or some other way. I don't leave people stranded if you take my course. I mean, other people can give you a course and you're on your own, but in my case, I will help you. So, I mean, and you can ask me questions here if you want. You don't even have to join my course. I can give you a lot of free information here. There's a book named The Command Line Interface by William Schatz. Any book about the command line interface, it will help. Yes, any book. Yeah, yeah. But you can get the book, you can learn on your own. I mean, I've gotten books and I try to learn on my own. It takes time. You can do it, but it takes time versus somebody like myself who's familiar with Linux and have been using it for a long time. And I have this course. It's easier for you, faster. I mean, if you're not in a rush, you want to learn on your own, that's fine too. You can do that. Yes, yeah. It's really good. Yeah, yeah, the books are great. I mean, and the command line interface by, yeah, that's a good, title. So it's gonna cover the Linux commands. Who else? Anybody have a question? Questions, comments? We're talking about Linux desktop versus the server edition. Which one should you use? What's the difference? I have them both installed on separate computers. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. I can answer you on this live stream. And I want to thank you so much for joining this live. Whether you're here now or you'll be on a future replay, make sure you submit your questions so I can answer you. I can reply even in the future. If you submit your question now, I will answer you now. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because I need your help in growing my channel. And in return, I will help you answer questions, make more live videos like this one. And you can ask me questions about Linux, about software I use myself. And if you look in my channel, you can see, what I cover. And that's the topics I can help you with. So. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Guys, let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you coming from the US? Are you in the US or overseas? Or how long have you been involved in this world? How long? What do you mean? How long I've been using Linux? That's what you're asking. I've been using Linux since the early 90s, like over 30 years, but on and off, not every day, on and off. But recently, in the last 3, 4 years, I'm using it a lot. And right now, I have it at home installed instead of my Windows machine because I had Windows 8 and it needs an upgrade. And every few years, you have to buy the operating system for Windows, and then you have to buy antivirus software. So then I stopped. I said, let me use Linux. I mean, uh, if you use specific software using Windows and you cannot use them on Linux, then you keep Windows, or have Linux with Windows. But somebody like me at home, I don't have a specific use for Windows anymore because I know Linux. I got used to it, and it's for free. So, anybody else? Questions, comments? Guys, thank you so much for joining. Let me know if you have any questions so I can answer you now on this live stream. So, and I'll be making more videos like this one so you can ask in the future. But right now, since I'm home, I was off today from my full-time job. I wanted to squeeze in this video because I'm traveling tomorrow, so I may not have a chance to make another video tomorrow. So, who else? Questions, comments? Anybody else? Topics about what you like me to talk about, as long as it's related to Linux distribution, Ubuntu distribution, desktop and server. So, anybody else? Hi, Mona. Welcome to the live stream. How can I help you? Do you have any questions about Linux desktop, Linux server, or how to get started with Linux? Let us know so I can answer you now if you have specific questions. Guys, welcome to this live stream. I want to thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate your time and your attention. And I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel. I want to grow it, and in return, I will help you making more live streams like this one, making more videos and answering your questions. So it's not only I want you to subscribe and that's it. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna be here more answering questions. So if you're on this live stream and you have a question, submit it in a comment. And any questions is fine as long as it's related to the topic of Linux desktop and server and the command line and how to get started using Linux. If it's within those topics, just drop the question in the comment box and I will try my best to answer you. And if I don't know the answer, I will refer you to the right resources. So I'll do my best to help. So, anybody else? So, Reja, welcome, Reja. English or Spanish? We're talking English now. I don't know how to talk Spanish. It's an English conversation. Uh, how can I help you? Do you have any questions about the using Linux commands and the difference between the desktop edition and the server edition, and when to use them and which one to use? Let me know. I have a question, Mona. Yes, what's your question? It's very important. Okay, what is it? Is it related to Linux and the Linux commands and how to use it? Let me see. Yeah, guys, ask questions. Keep them coming. Yeah, okay, what is it? I'm waiting for your questions, guys. Whoever have a question about Linux, let me know. Or how to get started, how to use Linux. I mean, I'm not too advanced to the point. I'm not into system programming, so because Linux can have different aspects, you can be a systems programming. Some people program in a C language and they get to the operating system. I'm not that way, so I use the command line interface from the terminal. I can make simple strips, so simple scripts. That's what I want to scripts. No, I didn't. I didn't see your question, Mona. You said it's very important. Yeah, that's all what I saw. I didn't see your question. No. Can you resubmit it? I didn't get it. I don't. I don't see it. I didn't see it. I'm waiting for it. I resend it. Okay, let me see. Okay, I resend it. I can't see anything. I don't know why it's not coming up on a chat. Ah, okay. Well, I guess we're gonna kick you out. Put user in timeout 24 hours. Okay, we won't see this person anymore. Who else? Questions, comments? Guys, if you put any comment which is not appropriate, I'm gonna remove it and put you in timeout. It means we won't see you anymore. So make sure you put comments that's decent related to the topic of Linux, so anybody else? Questions, comments? Anybody else have a question? Anyone have a question? Live chat on. Live chat. Wow. Okay. I can specify who can send messages. Wow. Okay. So I know that's the options. Okay. Let's see if I can add a comment. Highlight saved for your. Yeah. I'm not sure how to add a comment in a box. It's okay. So. Anybody else have a question about Linux desktop or server? Anybody else? Questions, comments about Linux? So, guys, I'm sitting here at my terminal. If you have any questions, let me know so I can answer you on this live stream. I want to thank you so much for joining. see. Who else? Any questions? Let's see. See live. Yeah, it is public. I don't know why I can't add a comment. Comment. See. Any questions? No questions coming in. Anybody else? Option. Anybody else have a question about Linux, using Linux commands, desktop, server? See this one here. I guess no questions coming. Okay, guys, we're talking about Linux desktop and Linux server. If you have any questions, let me know, or if you're getting started with Linux and you're not sure where to start from, let me know. I'm here to help you. Yeah, this topic is specific about Linux, Ubuntu, or we can talk about other Linux, but the one I have installed is Linux Ubuntu, and I can show you examples. And I have both. I have the desktop uh, edition, and then I have the server edition. They're separate, on separate computers. So anybody else? Questions, comments? Yeah, so let me show you, the Linux desktop. Okay, I'm gonna flip my screen to show you. This is Linux Ubuntu 22.04. This is the desktop version. This is the desktop version, and you can access the terminal window from going here to this icon. You see the terminal? You click on it, and this is the terminal here, and you can type commands. Let's say you want to see who's logged in. You type HWO, and it will give you who's logged in. Let's say if you wanna see your internet speed connection, you can use the command speed test, this one here, and I'm gonna run it now, and I'm gonna show you how it finds your internet speed upload and download. So if you hit enter here, so if you notice, it says retrieving speed test.net configuration. Then it will give you the testing from Midco 96 IP address. retrieving speed test server list, then it's gonna do the testing download speed, testing upload speed. And if you look on the download speed, it says download 87. If you look here, 87.11 megabit per second, and the upload is 30.93. So this is a very important command that you can use on Linux, in Linux commands, and in other, I think you can use it in Windows too, the speed test, to find the, and if you do a clear, you can clear the screen. So it's a very small, short commands. Sometimes they're very effective. So this is how you clear the screen. It's clear now. Let's say you want to do a ping. A ping, it means you ping a server or an IP address or a host name. Let's ping abc.com. Let's say abc.com. This is a website for ABC. So it's online. You know, once you start getting those, it means it's online. If it says unreachable, it means it's not connected on a network online. So, and if you hit click Z, it will stop running. The command will stop running. So, so this is examples of using Linux commands. So these are some of the commands I can use with Linux, and some of these you can use with Windows too. You know, not some of the commands are the same between Linux and Windows computers. So anybody else have a question about Linux? And to be specific, I have Ubuntu. So Ubuntu desktop and the server edition. If you have any questions about both, let me know. All right, I'm waiting for your questions. Got five people. You know, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So I want to grow it, and I want to help you in return. You know, I want to help you answer questions, make live videos like these ones. So make sure you subscribe and submit your comments or questions, and make sure your questions are about Linux commands, the server or the desktop. And do not add any inappropriate comments, because I'm gonna remove the comment and then keep you in timeout or reboot you from the chat. You know, so make sure you'll be responsible and appropriate with your comments. Anybody else? Anyone else? Questions, comments, topics you want me to talk about related to Linux commands and installing Linux or accessing the terminal. So anyone else? How can I help you? Guys, thank you so much for joining this live stream. My name is George Shamoun, and coming to you live from the US state of South Dakota. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you like, you know, share your locations. Are you in the US? What state are you from? Are you overseas? What country are you from? You know, I mean, usually people don't like to add those information, but I don't mind. I'll give you mine. I gave you where I am now, so it's not a problem. So anybody else? Questions, comments, topics you want me to discuss about Linux? You can use Linux if you are a web developer, if you are a programmer, because it's got so many tools for software developers, whether you are a web developer or a programmer. It's got so many tools. I can give you an example. If you're learning Python, Python interpreter comes with Linux, Ubuntu. I'm not gonna talk about other Linux distribution, but I think most of them they're very similar. So the Python interpreter, where where you can write Python programming, it comes bundled with Linux. So, but all what you have to do if you have an old distribution is to upgrade the Linux distribution you have, and then upgrade the Python interpreter you have. Sometimes you have Python 2, so you'll upgrade to Python 3, and then you can run it. You can run the a Python interpreter from the command line interface by typing like Python 2 or 3, it depends what version, and you hit enter. Once you hit enter, you access the Python interpreter, and then you can start entering commands and running commands. And you can also type like make Python scripts with py extension, and then you can run it from the command line in Linux. So some tools some tools are the same. You can use them in Linux and Windows and Mac. Like, let's say Visual Studio Code is a code editor that I use for making simple HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript codes. And this is a code editor, and it's available on Linux, Windows, and Mac machines. So I'm not gonna say that Linux have software that nobody has. Some software are the same. You can use it on different systems, and what else I want to say? It's for free. That's the difference. Linux is free. Free for home use. If you're using it at home, you don't have to pay for it. But don't try to use it commercially, because there are some license applied when it's commercial. But I don't know the details. So, but at home it's for free, and you don't even need antivirus. You don't even need softwares. You don't have to pay. You don't even have to. And the upgrade is free too. So. And you keep getting messages that an upgrade for this operating system is available. And it's very easy. If you have Linux, Ubuntu, use Ubuntu for if you renew. If you renew, use Ubuntu, Linux, Ubuntu. It's easier, or Mint, Linux Mint, and Ubuntu. Those are the easiest that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm not aware of every Linux distribution, because you have about 600 or more Linux distribution. But the one I'm familiar with, and the best ones I've tried, are Linux, Ubuntu, and Mint. But now I have installed, I have Ubuntu installed as a desktop and as a server on a separate machines, two computers. But you don't have to have a specific computer for it. You can use it on other computers. Like if you have, let's say, computer Windows, you can install it as a virtual box on a top of a hypervisor, and you can do that with like VMware. I can't remember the name, but there is a way. But nowadays, if you have a Windows machine like Windows 10 or after, somebody just mentioned it today in a comment here, WSL, I think it's called. You can install it. If you have a Windows machine, you can run Linux by installing a software that obviously it runs on the top of Windows. It's a virtual machine, and this is the best way. Virtual machines are the best. This way, you don't have to touch the hard disk. You keep the hard disk running like Windows 10 or 11 or after whatever. And then you install the Linux application. I think somebody called it WSL, and yeah, Windows subsystem Linux. I can't remember. Yeah, I think so. So you can install it and you can run it. You don't even have to have another computer. And if you don't like it, you can uninstall the application. Because it's virtual. It doesn't affect your hard disk that's running Windows. Anybody have a questions about what I'm talking about, which is Linux? How to use it, how to get started, why use it, what kind of software you need, what kind of hardware you need to run Linux operating system. Are you gonna be running the server or the desktop version? These are questions I can help you with now. And if you have access to the command line, you can you can ask about commands and what commands does what. So anybody else questions? Anybody else have a question or comments about or is there any command you want to learn about and you want me to run it? I can run it now since the computer is up and running, and the terminal window is available for me now. So I mean, it's always, but guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I want to grow it and I need your help. And I do appreciate your time and attention. And every one of you is important to me, and I need you to subscribe so I can grow it and I can make more videos like these to help you. If you're interested in those topics, you may not be interested in those topics. I am not sure, but if you are, make sure you subscribe, so. Because I need your help, and I will, in return, I will help you too by answering questions, making videos like these. So, anybody else? Questions, comments, topics? Waiting for your questions. I wish I know how to add a comment while live streaming, but I'm not sure. Let me see this. At least 1 minute of video is needed to start a highlight. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it should be available to add a comment or, oh, let's see, community moderation. Blocked. Oh, okay, that's a good one. I have to use this one. It says blocked words because a lot of people are, mentioning bad words. I have to add them here. I guess I can block them. They don't have to appear. Are you sure you want to? No, no. Cancel. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else have a question or questions about Linux commands, how to use Linux, desktop, server? Are you in the IT field? Are you in the technology field or not? Still, you can use Linux. It's a great software, so anyone else? Questions, comments? Yeah, there's no questions coming in. Anyone else have a questions? Waiting. Okay, so I guess nobody have any questions. I guess I'm gonna wrap it up for the day because we've been going over 1 hour and a half almost, and there is no questions coming in. I mean, I can stay if you have any questions, but if you don't have any questions, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, I'll wait maybe a few minutes if somebody want to submit a question about Linux. Anyone else? Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I need your help to grow it. So description. Anyone else? I'm waiting for your questions, guys. Anyone else have a questions, comments? Who else? Questions, comments? Talking about Linux distribution, the desktop and server edition. So, and I'm talking about Ubuntu. That's what I have installed. If you have any questions, let me know. So, I'm ready to answer you. And thank you for joining. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so I can grow it and make more videos to help you. Anyone else? Let's see. There's no questions, no comments. Anyone else? Questions, comments? There's this. Yeah, no questions coming in, I guess. Yep. So, who else have a question about Linux? Or if you have any ideas about making other topics related to Linux, it'll be great. Yes. Any questions, comments? Yeah, so this is you can use a laptop for Linux. This is a laptop here. You see it? This is running the desktop version of Ubuntu, and this computer here is running the. Can you see it? Yeah, this one here. It's running the server edition. So yeah, you can use for free both the server and the desktop edition. So, all right, we have somebody here. Urchman Ernest, thank you for joining and stopping by. I just stumbled on your channel. You are doing wonderfully well. Oh, thank you. No question at the moment, maybe subsequent time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let me know. And make sure if you like this kind of content, uh, we talk about, I talk about Linux commands and Linux desktop and server. I have Ubuntu installed, and I talk about Visual Studio Code, making web pages using HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript, not much, and using website builders and SVG files. So check my channel to see what videos I cover. This way you know what topics I cover. And if you're interested, make sure you subscribe. I need everybody to subscribe, and I will appreciate that. And this way I can grow the channel, and in return I will help you. I keep making those videos to answer people questions and other type of videos and information. So it goes both ways. I'm not gonna tell you subscribe and to grow my channel, and I'm gonna leave you stranded. I'm here. You can email me if you want. My email is on the about page of YouTube, just like everybody else. So yeah. So yeah, thank you, Urchman, for the. Okay, I have already Thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that, and thanks for your input. So, anyone else have a question? Anybody else? Anybody else? I mean, Linux. Linux desktop has a lot of software, and obviously they're free. All of them are free, and you can do a lot with Linux if you have Linux desktop installed. I can give you an example. Uh, you have Inkscape to make SVG files. So vector graphics, that is. You have GIMP. You can make raster imaging, but GIMP is difficult. It's the counterpart of Photoshop, but it's not streamlined like Photoshop. It's very difficult to use. I tried it. I like Inkscape. It's much easier, the one that makes SVG file for scalable graphics. I use that. I made my YouTube banner today using Inkscape, and that's running on Linux. But you can run it on Windows, and you can run it on Mac. So, like I said, not every software running on Linux only runs on Linux. Some software are open source, and OS agnostic. They can run on different machines. So. And my favorite is the command line interface. That's what's nice about Linux. And it's for free, and you get the server edition if you want. Because I have two computers here. The desktop is running on a laptop, the desktop version of Ubuntu 22.04. And I have the server edition running on the other computer, and that's also 22.04. And when you look at Ubuntu operating system, the Linux Ubuntu operating system, you might want to get all the time the LTS. It should say LTS after the name. LTS, it means long-term support. It means they support it for 5 years, I think. So, because there's a lot of trials, and they keep improving the software, and every few years they come up with a good one, or they decide on a specific software, and they call it LTS, and it will last for years, maybe 4 or 5 years. So the 22.04, make sure you get the LTS, long-term support. And there are other Linux distributions. There are so many. There are over 600, I think. So everybody has different use for them, specific use. Some people like do systems programming, because Linux is written in a C language and Rust, I think, and I don't know if it's assembly too. But if you are a programmer, operating system, you can use that. You can use it. It's got so many tools. If you are a web developer, there are so many tools too. Like I said before, Python, PHP, and yeah, and lot of software and tools they come bundled with Linux, unlike other systems, where you have to install it, you have to look for it on the internet. So, if you're on this live stream, I want to thank you so much for joining, and I do appreciate your time and your attention, because I know time is very valuable to everyone, and you can be doing so many important things besides listening to me here. But thank you, I do appreciate that. So, okay, guys, with that said, and it looks like no more questions coming in, so I'm thinking I'm gonna wrap it up. So I'm done with my topics. I don't want to keep repeating the same thing. Linux desktop and the server, I keep saying that and talking about them because there's no questions coming in. If there are questions coming in, I will. Okay, Hypnos, thank you for the being on a live stream. I do appreciate that. Thanks for coming. Okay, question. Recommended Linux tools for systems programming. Okay, systems programming. What do you program? What kind of programming? Like, is it operating system? Yeah, my knowledge. I mean, if you tell me what tools you need, I will look for it, but not kernel systems tools, but not kernel. Okay, to do what? Like, can you give me some examples? I can search it on the internet because I'm not good when it comes. I mean, I'm not into systems programming because I know you get to the lower level, close to the machine language and the hardware, that's systems programming and operating system. I think, yeah, I'm not at this level. So, but I can search recommended Linux tools for. If you want to wait, let me search the internet. Let me make a search. Maybe I can get some clues. So yeah, whenever you get stuck, you want to find out something, you can just check on the internet. Let me just see if I can find something for you. Um, all right. So you said Linux tools for system programming. Linux tools for systems programming. Okay, so I guess, are you looking to program in C and C++ and the Python? They have those. Those are available. You have a compiler, you have editors, you have debuggers. Yes, okay. Yeah, okay. C and C++. Yes, it's because Linux is written in C and Rust, and I'm not sure what's the third language, but you can search it. So I did a search for the statement Linux tools for systems programming, and it says in Linux programming, developers can use various programming languages such as C, C++, Python. Python, I know it exists because I used it recently. They have a Python interpreter that comes bundled with Linux, etc., to write programs. So yes. So I don't know if I answered your question or you're looking for some another answer or. Okay, so it says that's another. People also ask what are the system programming programs in Linux, and it says this is traditional system programming: Apache, Bash, which is the scripting language, CP, Emacs, init, GCC. I guess those are programs. Vim, and X. Okay, so these are programs. That's not what you're looking for. The Vim is a editor, a text editor. You can write script in it. That's what Vim is. LS and V are the commands you use. I know those. So I guess that's what you're looking for, the compiler and interpreters. That's what you're looking for. C, C++, and Python. And I'm sure it's got more than those, because Linux is great for software developer. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Uh, so multi-programming. Yeah, that's a big subject, very extensive subject, programming using Linux. Yes, yeah. Okay, common developers tools. Okay, that's okay. So if you're interested in this one too, it says common development tools. Nano editor. I use this. I know what it is. It's a text editor only. Vim. That's a text editor. Okay, those I know, but they're not for the system. Okay, so this one here, it says GCC compiler. The three core components of the GCC tool chain are GCC core, bin utility, and glibs. Okay, GCC core, also known as the GCC compiler, it's the heart of the tool chain and indicates compilers for various languages to C, C++. So this is the specific answer to your question, Hypnos. GCC core, GCC compiler, this is the compiler for C and C++ in Linux. So that's what you want to look for. If you're programming C and C++, it's the GCC compiler. That's what is it called in Linux. And what else? Yeah, I mean, it does that. GCC on Linux is an open source compiler. And yeah, you're welcome. And what it does, you can program C, you can use it for C, C++, Objective C, Fortran. You can use it for Fortran. That's an old engineering language. I used it long time ago, but I don't get it anymore. Ada, etc. And is capable of compiling large and complex applications. GCC is a portable compiler. So basically, you can do a lot with the GCC, and you can use it on the different platform of hardware platform. So yeah, so this is a good example of Linux tools. So yep. So and then you have a G++ compiler, and this one is specific for the C++ language. Yep. So what else, guys? Anybody have a question so I can try to help you? You can do with Linux network programming too, network programming. TCP/IP protocol, layered structure, telnet, FTP, such and such. Sockets, basic steps for TCP socket programming. You can do so much. Yeah, I mean, this is why I like Linux. It's got everything for everybody. All right. Anybody else have any questions? So I can try to help you, or at least search it online like now, because obviously I don't have answers to all the questions even that's related to Linux, because I'm not a system programmer, but we can find the information. So what are some of your favorite languages? Okay, uh, I'm not gonna say I'm a programmer, but I recently, for the last 2 3 years, I've been learning. I'm getting into web development. So I like. I mean, you have to learn HTML5, CSS3, and I started recently with JavaScript, and I find it very difficult, but I like it. I want to get into it more. I mean, I nailed down the basics, like the loops, the variables, all those elements. But once you get to a project, like I'm taking a course online, and once I get to the project, I'm getting lost. Like there's a project where you click so many elements, and the system on the top will tell you notification, you clicked 5 elements. And this simple project, it's got so many elements to it. I'm not understand it, so I'm taking a break, but I want to get back into it. And before I get into any other languages, I'm gonna get at least comfortable with the JavaScript before I get to something else. And my next one after JavaScript, I want to learn a PHP because that's a back-end language, scripting language, and it's within the web development. I'm not into programming like Python, C, C++. I find them difficult, to be honest with you. Uh, when I went to college, they had Fortran, that was long time ago, Fortran 70, I think, or 77, I can't remember. And it was so difficult, even though they tell you it's a beginner's language for engineering, and I found it so difficult. Since then, I hated the programming, but I want to get into more, higher skills. So that's why I'm getting into web development. So, I mean, every language, it depends what you need it for, is good. So, I mean, if you want to program if you are a video game programmers, I guess you have to get into C++. So it depends what you want to do, what you need the language for. Anybody else? Any questions or topics you want me to look for or try to help with or search? As long as they're along that same line, like web development, programming, Linux. So, guys, thank you so much for everybody who joined this live stream, and thank you very much for whoever subscribed. So, I guess anybody have a question before we wrap it up? We've been going for 100 minutes, so that's like 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I start to get tired, and I'm running out of topics. Unless you want me to answer another questions, I can hang out. If you have any questions. So, with that said, I want to thank you so much, and have a great day or great evening. It depends where you are in this world. And I hope you join me another time. I might be taken off like 3, 4 days. I'm traveling. So, when I come back, maybe next week, I start again with those live streams. Maybe next Monday or Tuesday. But for the weekend, I'll be traveling. It's going to be hard. So, all right. Thank you. I'll see you next time in the next video. Thank you so much.